Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Okay. Um, Ready or not, here comes the slides. Okay, let's see here. Beverly McCaskill, thank you so much for being first. Also, thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Greatly appreciate it. Lorna Williams is here, and Lydia Washington, and a host of friends and others. Okay, just going to scroll all the way down to the very beginning. To the last one. Yeah, okay, very good. Slides are up. I love this first time out for the Duchess of Sussex. If you guys recall, she went to that radio station in Brixton, and what a splash did she make. Um, that was the first time any of the young people saw a royal princess or a soon to be royal princess. I'm trying to think. I believe that was before they were married. Anyway, that was the first time anyone had seen someone um, looking like that in the royal family. What a look. And very carefully sculpted. That long coat that she's wearing makes her seem much taller than she actually is in real life. And of course, the wide leg pants. It was quite the look. Um, and I remember how people screamed, and Meghan was trying to be very dignified, and she was trying to, for lack of a better word, stay in character. And Harry's like, you gotta turn around and say something to him. And when she turned around, they screamed even more. And trust and believe that really um, set some tongues a wagging back at the old dusty castles in Narnia. Um, but still, what a phenomenal day that was. And that was just one of several. And I remember one of the women that they spoke to that had just gotten off from work. She heard, she asked what the commotion was, and they said, "Oh, it's one of the royals," and they said, "I think it's Meghan Markle." And rather than going home on that very cold, damp evening, you know how when you get off from work and you catch that chill and you don't actually ever feel like you're warm until you get home, right? You ever experienced that? You don't feel like you've ever felt warm until you got home. That's when you finally get home, you eat something, and maybe lay on the couch and pull a big blanket over you, and then finally you can start to feel your toes again. It was one of those kind of days. When they went in, the it was in the late afternoon, and when they came out, it was dark outside and very damp and cold. And some people otherwise would have just kept going if it was Will or Kate or the Queen or whatever. They didn't care. But when they found out it was Meghan, they did the old double back. So that doesn't sound weird. They doubled back, and you know what I mean. Uh, so this is a photo of Meghan from that day. Uh, she put on the big headphones, and oh, Harry was so proud, as well he should have been, because beautiful, glamorous, smart, intelligent, thoughtful, kind, all of the things that he was looking for. Her own person, a standalone structure, if you will, and yet nurturing and loving and caring, and people could not get enough of her. So, is there any wonder why she was driven away from the royal family. No. So, and there's also that lately people have been saying, um, did they leave? Did they voluntarily leave? Were they pushed out? They were pushed out. Harry didn't want to have to go, and least of all, he didn't want to leave like that. But there was no choice. It was bad enough, to lose a parent because of the system, but you're not going to turn on my wife and whatever children we're having. That's just out of the question. There's especially the way Harry felt about his grandmother, you know, it had to have taken a lot to leave. But then again, Harry, being as the decisive as he is about certain things, he just said, "Okay, that's it. Rip the band-aid. It's gonna sting a bit, but we're out of here." And so they left. And it's just been one success after another since that day. So, uh, as they say, you got to take the good with the bad, the happy and the sad. But such is life. That's what life is. Life is a collection of experiences. That's what it is. Um, yeah. So I'm sure. I'm sure that in her um, wisdom, the queen certainly understood. Oh, wow. I forgot I had that one. And I have to use that later. Every so often when I'm um, looking for something, I will find stuff that I didn't even realize I had, or should I say, I forgot about it. Also, let's see, what else is on the docket for today? Oh, I know what I'm looking for. Huh. Nope, that's not it. Hmm. Okay, when I find it, I'll find it. Better keep moving here so we won't be here all night. Let me take that away. Welcome if you just joined us. And despite all of the aggravating things that are happening with you know the the uh, the plots and such that are taking place at the various houses of Windsor's, I am in quite a good mood. Um, okay, got my humidifier on, and what am I trying to? Oh, there it is. Okay, got it. Okay, again, welcome if you just joined us. Hello, Dan Speed, Mercy Aware. No, Archewell. Archewell. This was the headline photo that they used from a very unlikely source. So, with everything that's been said about the Sussexes and their foundation, and you know, I think that there may have been a little pushback from Montecito, although I can't prove it. Then again, if someone with common sense would just look at the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. If there's anything that's an absolute, there's mathematics. Now, people are often corrupted and will, take license with the facts, and as they say, facts don't care about feelings and such. But the numbers, they don't lie. So let me show you what I mean by that. Take a look here. That is return of organization exempt form income tax 2022. And all the way at the bottom, you can see it says $8,344,105. See that all the way in the bottom right corner? Now, um, this tax form is for Archewell, public disclosure copy, right? That's the one that they submit to the public. It even has a telephone number. Um, let's see. There's an address for Wilshire Boulevard, 5th floor, Beverly Hills, California. That sounds like the place where Meghan's lawyer is located. He's in Beverly Hills. Not at this address. Obviously, this is for an accounting firm or whatever. But Meghan takes care of her important business in Beverly Hills. Her lawyer is in Beverly Hills and has been for years. So she's not new to this. She is true to this. Ah, very good. TB says they only have 200,000 K in liabilities. That is really good. Sure enough. So let me move on with this. So I see Prince Harry and Meghan Markle being able to manage their foundation finances peeved off the Daily Fail. How is it a nonprofit foundation which does not ask for donations with over 8 million in funds in the red? How is it? How could they be in the red if they have over $8 million in funds? Right? That's not monopoly money. But yet, you can see they tried it. Harry and Meghan's Archewell Foundation drops in donations. Sussex's charity received 1.6 million um, from two wealthy. Let's see. It cuts off there. From two wealthy benefactors last year, with losses hitting. Why is that cut off like that? Well, anyway, think about it. Think about it. Who's coming to a lot of money, or should I say, what wealthy benefactors can you think of that have a huge amount of money and cares about people who such a donation to the Archewell Foundation? I ask. Who would do something like that? Could it be Meghan and Harry, who seem to have a lot of money thanks to a lot of things? They tend to have some deep pockets. So let's say you settle a lawsuit with, I don't know, a British tabloid newspaper, and you get 7 figures, right? Whatever it is, 7 figures means it's north of $1 million or £1 million. Or let's say you have these huge contracts with some streaming services, right? Or let's say your husband has a job with a company that value has been, what is it? I forgot it. But anyway, it's the value of the company has risen into the billions of dollars, due in part to Harry's presence there. Let's say all of these things are coming together. You and your husband have contracts. You and your husband have won a lawsuit or two. There's all kinds of stuff going on, right? And uh, something that a lot of people haven't speculated. Remember, the Queen's will is sealed. Philip's will is sealed. We don't know if they got something or not, but they are rolling in it. You hear me? Rolling in it. And so whatever they say at the Daily Fail matters not, because the Daily Fail, amongst other tabloids, they are fixated on saying negative things about select people. And if that means a woman of color who happens to have African DNA that comes from America, that's good enough. And of course, whoever is married to the most popular royal in the world is also a target, meaning, of course, Harry. Harry and Meghan are the two most popular royal couple, the most, I'm sorry, the most popular royal couple anywhere in the world. Full stop. I don't care if you like them or not. They are the most popular. Um, Easily recognizable, incredible influence, and very, very deep pockets. So, for all we know, they could have been the mysterious anonymous benefactors, and I believe they likely are not benefactors, but donors, and I believe they likely were. Um, Plus, they do partner with other people, but they do not solicit donations. Now, just so you guys know, if the Sussexes wanted to raise money fast, right? Do you know how many universities and colleges and corporations they could go out and do the lecture circuit? The lecture circuit pays millions of dollars, but thus far, it hasn't come to that, right? Or perhaps at this time, they are not interested in it. But they could easily do that to raise money for their foundation if they so chose to do just that. But right now, that is not a priority. But there is a blueprint or a template, if you will, which of course they are using the Clinton Obama model for their post working royal life. And they have a lot of options that they haven't even exercised. They don't even have to go the commercial route. They could literally do lectures and speeches here, there, and everywhere, and earn tens of millions of dollars. And I don't care how much the hate campaign goes after them, it would be an opportunity for them to use their voices to say a lot of things or to even speak about their own feelings or thoughts. And, you can kind of stick those in between the pages of the speech. But so far, they have not exercised that, but they have more options than not. So, as they are trying to find every way that they can to say that they don't have friends, they don't have money, this is tight, that's rough, don't even listen to it. There is multiple ways that they can stream money into their pockets. I don't think it's all about money. The security of their family comes first, and then of course their work, which go hand in hand with their security. Those are the things that are important. So if there was a point in which they wanted to involve themselves in something commercial for the benefit of their foundation, they could do that. Do you guys remember Newman's Own when what's his name? Was it Bob Newman? No, no, not Bob Newman. Paul Newman, when he started his what do you call it? His salad dressing, Newman's Own. I don't think he got a dime of profit from that. And of course, in later years, if he wanted to be greedy, he could have, definitely have gone into more commercial things. Very popular, but he didn't because it wasn't about money. He had a very long-term marriage. He was financially secure and he wanted to help people. So he started the Newman's Own. There's so many options. I mean, I'm just saying this for the benefit of those who may actually feel a sense of panic when they see these headlines. They have options that they have not even come close to um, seeking that they could do stuff if they wanted to. They're in a very, very strong position financially, and they are being very selective about who they're supporting and why they're supporting. In other words, the condition of receiving anything from that foundation, it has to be in alignment with their own values. It has to be something that is truly helpful to humanity. Foundations don't just do things themselves. They partner and get involved with other foundations and philanthropists so that way more of the money will reach the people that need it. And I'm not saying anything that these diabolical reporters don't know, but it's not the narrative that they want to push. That isn't what they want people to think. They want people to think that the Sussexes are in some bad way or whatever, and it's just not true. It's just not true, and it's not going to be true because it makes their constituents or their readers or their fans, if that exists for them, it's not going to happen just because it makes them feel good. It's just not where they are. They are highly successful people and they are financially stable people. And if that ever changes, as I said, they have options that are just not available to most people. And they know that. And they will use those options if they ever feel it necessary. So until they start walking in that direction, kick rocks, kick rocks, because it isn't, it wasn't, and it ain't ever gonna be a problem for them. They are walking tall. All right. Um, all of that nonsense that they're talking, that is for their audience, not for you and not for me. We know better. Beverly McCaskill says, I think that their silent beneficiaries may be some of them that they met at USC when they went there and J-Lo was there. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And of course, this is something else. There are a lot of people that have a lot of money that they're looking to donate for tax purposes. And if you're going to donate the money anyway, and you meet an incredibly likable couple that you know and trust are going to do great things, then of course you'll say, oh, and so much, so much, so much for the Archewell Foundation. It is a way to help, and there's a lot of very generous, and I do mean incredibly generous, wealthy people in this country, and so there's no reason to believe that, as Beverly McCaskill said, that some of the people that they have met with have been quite generous with them. So they partner with people, but they're not openly soliciting money from. And I what I hate about this is that the tabloids, through their hate and hostility, they are creating and setting up fraud. Because when the foundation first started, there were quite a few people that opened up their, what do you call it, their GoFundMe and other crowdsourcing. And I'm sure that's still happening. Now, if you see anything like that, please do report it immediately. But there's always people that are requesting money in the name of a lot of people, including Oprah. Oprah is a constant target of that type of fraud. Well, she's not the target, but they target people using Oprah's name. And it's just so common sense. Everybody knows Oprah is a billionaire. Why would she be soliciting money? But attaching Oprah's name to it is enough to generate fraud. And there was actually fraud that was generated with the Sussex's foundation. And of course, these headlines is only going to stir the imagination of some very shady people. So that's why I can't wait for this to subside and just go back into obscurity, these headlines, because I don't like the idea that they're generating fraud around our beloved Sussexes. You're right. Charlotte. It is a lot of let me see, William Lettery, sis, uh, Kate Middleton, extreme racist and narcissist, is it? Couple of parasites, is it? Uh, yeah, and then the complex endeavors, Harry. Okay, see, my French is getting better. Either that or I just started a war. I'm not sure. Hi, Marjorie says Daily Fail seems to be Harry and Meghan's accountant and auditors. And the sad thing is that their story seems to be gospel as it is reported by media houses who should know and do better by research. Yeah, but it's such a good headline, right? It just draws your eyes immediately. So even though a lot of these other papers and news sources know better, they're not going to do better because they want the engagement. Thank you for your comment. Lex says, as usual, it is always projection. The Royal Foundation is in the red and taxpayer funded, but it is Archewell that is in the red. Please cry harder. Thank you so much, Legs, for that very timely comment. Greatly appreciate it. And thank you for the super sticker. Okay, so if you take a look there, I even put a little red box around it. That is the amount of money that they have in the Archewell, just sitting around waiting for the right cause to come up. And you can see where they were in 2021 and 2022. Let me see, is that what that is? Gifts, grants, contributions, and membership fees received do not include any usual grants, tax. Yeah, okay, so that amount is 15,005,381. So their little foundation, and you know what? I think that at some point they had actually decided to restructure or whatever the foundation, but I know they changed some things. You know what, guys? The foundation started what, 2020, 2021. This is a foundation that started during the height of the global pandemic. The height of the global pandemic. They had to rebuild their lives, no matter how popular and talented they are. They had to rebuild their lives going from one type of financial situation to another and moving twice within 6 months. They had to move twice, or let's see, Canada, and then Tyler Perry's place, and then they got a house. I think within 6 months, I think they moved 3 times, right? And the whole time, people searching for them. When they found them, they were flying drones over the house and such. So with all of that going on, and having a second child, they managed to start a foundation. But they won't get credit for that with a certain type of media. That would be out of the question. So here is that unlikely source that I mentioned. Unlikely. I'm just gonna let me do this. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's Archewell Foundation not in dire straits, despite reports claiming so. Do you see who's saying that? That is TMZ or TMZ. That is TMZ for those of you across the pond. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's philanthropy org was said to have been in the red this year, but there's missing context rather, including the fact it's got a big time multi-dollar stash. I'm sorry, they got they got multi-dollars stashed away. Sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ. I'm so regal, right? A recent report suggesting the Archewell Foundation was strapped for cash after suffering a substantial decrease in revenue between 2021 and 2022 is misleading because it doesn't take into account the org, which is it means not for profit, is not a corporation, folks. In other words, these sorts of things can't simply be measured in mere profit and loss. As our sources say, the Archewell Foundation is still humming like it was when it first launched back in 2020 and actually ended the year with more than $8 million in the bank. What the reports harp on is the fact that the organization most recent tax filing it shows donations were down between 21 and 22, going from 13 million in 2021 to just about 2 million in 2022. The foundation also notes is technically came in at a loss about 674,000 since its cost somewhat outpaced its revenue this year. But like we said, context, we're told, is not uncommon for donations to decrease after a charitable organization's debut year, and oftentimes the first year is often the strongest. The Archewell Foundation smartly stored that huge influx of cash that they got between 2020 and 2021 and are now divvying up the dough based on their long term goals. So, yes, donations are down, but um, AF is not out to the, I'm sorry, but AF is not out of the philanthropy game. Archewell Foundation. I had to think about that for a second. There was also a claim in the report in question that Archewell CEO James Holt had received a fat pay raise between 2021 and 2022, jumping up in salary from $59,000 to $227,000. We're told that the 21 figure um, was just a partial year. Oh, see, there you go, of Holt's pay. However, the source was not specific about Holt's full annual salary. While Archewell is fine and dandy in the 501c3 world, it does not seem to be under the gun to come up with new ways to generate donations and revenue. We'll see what they got. So, as they said, nothing to see here, folks. Nothing at all. Can you believe TMZ or TMZ were the ones who ran that? So apparently, somebody got fed up and decided, listen, folks, if the British tabloid media wants to lie to you, let me explain it to you as though you're a child. They are fine. Let's see. Oh, thank you for the Venmo, L. Greatly appreciate it. And thank you so much for supporting Royal Sussex, which reminds me, I got a Venmo the other day and I don't think I acknowledged it because I usually don't get Venmos. So thank you. And thank you, AS, for the Venmo the other day. Thank you very much. All right, very cool. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Vinny Blair says, bearing the headline for this podcast suggests Archewell is telling lies, is other lies about Archewell. Did I spell it wrong? Did I spell it wrong? It's other line about the foundation, right? I don't know. I was in a rush. Let me see what I got here. Um, mm, Yeah, I could have very well have let me see. I don't know. Let me see. Mm, I'll check it later though. Thank you so much. Let me see. Love wins movement. Hey, you guys, I hope you enjoyed the video from earlier today. That video was based on some very finely written words from Love Wins Movement. So some of you all were like, Baron, that was so profound. Those were not my words, that came from a very proud Canadian, Love Wins Movement. So I read it in the comments and I thought it was so good. I decided to make a video based on it. So maybe I'll share it with you guys later. If not, you could. Well, yeah, because it's over 10 minutes long. So no, it's about 10 minutes, under 10 minutes long. But uh, there, I posted it earlier today. So please make sure you check it out. I see a lot of you guys have watched already. Um, but yeah, so do check it out because it was I'm telling you, I'm so impressed with the way some of the squatties write. It is incredible. Um, so talented. So please do check it out. Again, I posted that video earlier, and the name of the video, let me see, what did I call it? Oh, Love Wins Movement. Proud Canadian squatty speaks about Prince Harry and Meghan. I'm sorry, Princess Meghan, did I put? Yeah. So, yeah, thank you so much for being here. I'm like so excited. I didn't even look at the comment. Hi, Baron. They also failed to acknowledge that all of the Archewell production income from Heart of Invictus was donated back to the Invictus Games. I can send you the document. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that. Here, and you get a bell. And thank you so much for the comment that you wrote. Again, it was so well worded. I decided to make a video out of it. All right. Um, Joy and more. Thank you for reminding us of the season. I bet Meghan and Harry has the most prettiest Christmas tree, beautiful family, lots of close, rich friends. What a blessing. Listen, when you are neighbors with Oprah and who else are oh gosh, why did her name just slip my mind? Ellen DeGeneres and so many other people. Christmas must be very special in Montecito. I can only imagine how Christmas looks over there. Um, like Oprah said one day, she was sitting up there eating some dry toast and drinking some orange juice, minding her business, and all of a sudden there's a knock at the door or whatever. There was a delivery from Barbara Streisand, and it was from some muffin company, and Oprah sitting up there trying to stay on her diet. And here comes, which by the way, I did the same thing to my aunt today. I got to tell you guys about that later. I have gotten my aunt in so much trouble, so much trouble, good trouble, but I got her in trouble today. So I'll tell you all about that later. But thank you so much, Joy and More, for those words. Oh, shame on the tabloid media. Shame on them. Shame, shame, shame. So, with everything else that happened, let me just say this. If you're going to accuse the Sussexes of being financially strapped or failing their foundation, God bless you for finding like the most attractive photo you can find of them to make your case. I'm like, this is the second day straight that they found some really nice photos of the Sussexes to share while they're trying to declare that they are losing it or failing in some kind of way. So, yeah. Yes, Lydia Washington. I told her about the cake, right? And she was like, "What rum cake?" And next thing you know, the both of us was on the Amazon, and I tried to explain to her or show her which ones that I got. It's a 6 pack that includes the original golden rum cake. There was the chocolate, pineapple, coconut, banana, and key lime. And so she went to work, and all of a sudden she was like trying to figure out how to get exactly what she wanted. So she got the 6 pack like I have, and which, by the way, is the only 6 pack I'm going to have for quite some time. Going to the gym just won't cut it, but at least I had a 6 pack of rum cake. And then she ordered like the whiskey something something. It was like three that she ordered for her son for Christmas. So yeah, she was really, really distraught and excited at the same time looking at those rum cakes. So again, for the squatty that uh, purchased the rum cake from the Royal Sussex wish list as a gift to me, thank you very, very much. I it's so rich. It's so rich. Even though they're like little mini bundt cakes, when I was eating the pineapple, I had to put the fork down because it was so rich. I'm just like, as much as I love sweets, that's rich for me. That's how good it is. Very rich and buttery and delicious. So yeah, it's good to share a piece of it. Yes, a rum cake enabler. I like that. Yep, a rum cake enabler. That's me. Oh, but was it delicious? I mean, if you just have to eat something rich or you just want to eat something rich, you may as well get the best. And I promise you, that was awesome. I just kind of found it by chance. And the reason why I found it was because a friend of mine, she had bought a rum cake from someone who has a bakery. And I'm just like, I wasn't sure. And so when I saw that they had it on the Amazon, I'm like, well, this looks like a popular company, Tortuga or whatever. Why don't I just try this one? So I put it on my wish list, and suddenly I it was here, and I'm just like, oh, there's 6 of them. I can't eat all 6 of these. I'm gonna have to share a couple of them, right? Then I found out that they were different flavors. So I was like, okay, so much for sharing. And since I wasn't willing to share, my aunt just bought her own. Oh, that's how it worked out. But oh, by the way, you guys, Royal Sussex is very close to 48,000 subscribers. We're at 47777, right? 47777. Did I put too many sevens in there? Wow, how cool is that? So I tell you, by the end of the week, Royal Sussex is going to be 48,000 subscribers. Fun. Okay. So that is enough about that rum cake. I'm trying not to think about it. Yep. I ordered on a Monday and my heart stood still. The do rum cake, the do rum cake, or do rum, the do rum cake. Okay, that is one of my worst improvised songs. All right, moving on. So, uh, while they're so critical of the Sussexes, check it out. The back in what, May of 2023, not so long ago, children home run by charity Kate Middleton support shuts down over safeguarding fears. A Deming Ofsted report said there were serious child protection allegations at the home, which is run by Action for Children, a charity backed by dozens of celebrities, and Kate Middleton. Well, anybody who leaves the house with their hair looking like a muskrat was lying on the side of the road couldn't possibly have any logical input to save a charity. Each charity facing 2 million deficit to close Milton and Ipswich offices. Each patron of the Duchess of Cambridge opened the Nook Hospice near Norwich in 2019. So there's another one you can see there. That was from 2021. That one, two of them are closing. Any charity that Kate Middleton touch fails. Eventually it fails, or there's some type of scandal associated with it. Like that charity, it was called, I think it was Party Pieces. Yeah, there was this charity called Party Pieces. And the head of the organization, Ma Middleton, was found to be wanting in her skills as a, oh, wait a minute, that wasn't a charity. That was a front. Yeah. Anyway, that front organization for Uncle Gary, allegedly, uh, pretty much if it's money involved and the Middletons are there, it's always going to be a failure. My Middleton, who knows when was the last time Party Pieces, if ever, were profitable, they say, allegedly, in my opinion, parody. They say, did I say this was a parody? Parody. But they say that everything they touch fails. Like, speaking of touched, her brother actually thought that he was going to build his financial security on marshmallows, bespoke, original, what do you call it, custom marshmallows, because everybody at some point sits around and thinks to themselves, gee, while you're headed to the supermarket, do you think you could stop and pick up some marshmallows? Let alone marshmallows that are, custom painted or whatever. But yeah, he thought that his future was in marshmallows. That's why I tell you, the whole family, they're a bunch of failures when it comes to money. The only thing that they have ever been able to pull off was getting Kate into the castle. And that was because nobody else wanted this damaged set of goods that they were trying to push on people, like that time when he broke up with Kate so that all the other aristo women would know that he was available. And what happened? Nothing. He was stuck with Kate because nobody else wanted him. So he had to put up with what was available, what had been pushed upon him for 10 years. 10 years of hanging around that family. 10 years. And then finally, because of a lack of personality, because of a lack of character, because it was the only other person as lazy as William, they finally got them down to the altar, and the rest, of course, is history. And we would have more history to share, but let me see, NBC very wisely read the room and noticed that there was not much interest in the royal couple. So they actually cut back on their coverage. They cut the budget on the coverage of the Cambridge wedding because they just didn't see any logic in investing that kind of money for a wedding that nobody watched. Those numbers they throw around, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And this was before streaming was so popular. They could not manage to get more eyes on that wedding. So, as you can see, I'm in a particularly shady mood. I mean, I am just as prickly as a porcupine when it comes to those two. So, stick around. That's all I can say is stick around because I'm sick of this free ride they are getting. You hear me? Sick. I'm just sick of it. The only way that they can stand out is by walking all over Harry and Meghan. Well, I'm through with it. You hear me? I'm just tired of it. Sick of it. Sick. So anyway, as I was saying, what was I talking? Oh yeah, I was talking about this. So every charity that Kate and William get involved with eventually fails, one after the other. It's like watching dominoes fall. Instead of actually bringing attention to the charity, like think how many times the Sussexes have gotten involved with a charity, and not just the Sussex squad, but other people are inspired to give. That does not happen for Wilma and Katie. That just does not happen. They don't have that type of fan base. They never have, and they never will. When they do something, it's a big yawn and oh well. And now that they are sitting on $1 billion that they are sharing with no one, William has a $1 billion portfolio. And with all the lofty ideas about what he's going to save and how he's going to change things, let's see how much of that $1 billion he comes off of. Let's see if he has the courage. Let's see if he has the foresight. Let's see. Harlem Girl says it speaks volumes that when Diana wanted to show her children other ways that less fortunate people live, she did it in private. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Diana wanted them to learn how the rest of the world lived. I think one of the most impressive things about Diana, and it's just one of many, was when they went to Disney World and they were trying to give them the VIP treatment. And Diana said, nope, they are going to wait in line just like everyone else. And what about the famous story about the McDonald's, where Charles says, oh, dear God, where have you been? What? Where have you been? Well, we went to McDonald's. But that doesn't make any sense. We have a chef here. He could make you a perfectly good, organic, biodegradable. Uh, he just didn't get it. He did not understand the necessity of getting the children out away from those walls and guards and all that kind of stuff. He just didn't get it. But Diana would take them to McDonald's. They did some very ordinary things. And there was a lot of times when the palace did not want them to participate in certain things, and Diana had to stand up to them. And she gets so much appreciation for her efforts. I'm kidding, of course. I'm being sarcastic. The truth is, that is a part of the story that these so-called royal experts and authors and such, they don't talk about it. They just don't talk about it. I see less and less about some of the better attributes that Diana shared with this world, and more about how she suffered mentally, and so on and so on. That is the narrative, is they want us to believe that Diana came to that family fragile and unstable, and that they could not understand what was wrong. They tried to help her. And of course, this sounds familiar, right? Because that's part of the playbook. Oh, we tried to help her, but there was nothing that could have been done. Everything that could be done has been done, or she did not want our help, and she turned down security, and so on and so on. But the truth is, once you are divorced from that family, um, whatever they were doing to you while you were in the family, it is multiplied in intensity. So once she was no longer married to Charles, that's when they really turned the heat up. I mean, imagine that, the Queen insisting that Diana's funeral is a private family affair. Read the room, old lady. Read the room. Thank you for your comment. I actually woke up at 5 a.m. in order to watch the Sussex wedding. I cried because it was so lovely and genuine. I was so proud for America to get a princess. Well, thank you. I am Patrice Meeks. Thanks for sharing that with us. And I did the same thing back in 1981, when Diana got married, because it just seemed like it was a fairy tale, right? And then, of course, fast forward to 2018, and I was even more excited because it was a real moment of change, and there was so much hope for the future. And because I felt as though that was stolen from us, that is why I started this channel. I wanted to push back against some of those people that were trying to destroy the Duchess of Sussex and Prince Harry. I really felt a need to push back. Thank you so much for your comment. Lovewind says the idea of help for Diana was control and isolation. Same tactic applied to Meghan. Yeah, that is very, very well put. Control and isolation. Control and isolation. Wow, that's powerful. Yeah, control and isolation. Nethelando says, if Harry and Meghan's charitable foundation is bankrupt, why don't they fundraise and donate it? Funny headlines are not beneficial to the public. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, um, there's so many ways that they could bring a lot of cash into their foundation if that was their intention. There are so many ways. Um, and right now they are focused on going in a certain direction, and that's just the way it's going to be. As they say, it is the anointed time, not the appointed time. It's not by somebody else's timetable. They have a long-term strategy, and they will do it their way. Thank you so much for your comment. Okay. So this is the way things used to be. Gentlemen with their stovetop hats riding along those early dusty avenues with their horses and carriages and footmen and such. I mean, it's so weird to think that they had footmen here in the United States, but looking at the Gilded Age, you can see that they had exactly that, footman or two or three or four, depending on how big your family or in your house was. But during that period of time, the Gilded Age, um, there was such a disparity between wealth. It was the poor and then there were the haves and have mores. And the poor, they were in the shadows. Rich people didn't learn your name. They didn't expect you to stay around. They would literally work you until your body gave out. Um, and I remember looking at some of those dollar brides that married into the aristocracy, and you read about the way they went to some of those castles, and the castles were not quite luxurious. There was no central heating. They didn't even have plumbing in some cases. They took those big pails of water from a basin in the lower level, the ground floor of the house, and they would walk up those back steps to 2 or 3 floors up, and they would fill up a bathtub with these ceramic pots of hot water, and they would repeat that over and over again. And some of them, they moved into homes that were still using chamber pots. Some of these homes were quite adequate, very provincial, and in some cases run down until the dowry from the wealthy American bride infused all this cash into these families. Now, not all families were like that, but some of them, those families, they were land rich and money poor. They had the big title, but they had no money. And so they would go over there and move into these houses and be quite uncomfortable. And some of the American brides, with their outspokenness in some cases, they would literally have to have the house kitted out in a way that they can be comfortable. Otherwise, you know, this ain't gonna work out. Or they would spend most of their time in the city. It was very there was a disparity between rich and poor, but there was also a disparity between American rich and British rich. And the British rich, although it was impressive over there, they just did not impress Americans that much because uh, the castles over here, of course, are not nearly as old. It's not unusual when you go to the UK to go into a pub that's been open before the before the United States Constitution became, a law or whatever. Became before the country was born. This pub was open. I mean, that is quite impressive. But at the same time, the money was over here. The money was over here and lots of it. And so it just did not impress them that much. They had money of their own. Some of the ladies and such, you know, and I'm going to be very fair and very honest. You can see elements of the Victorian household in most older American cities, most major cities, whether it's Chicago, Boston, Cleveland, Washington, D.C., you can see a townhouse that looks almost identical to something you would find on a street in London or any other town in the UK. You will find the identical architecture. You will find servant quarters. You will find the kitchens and such. What's left of them in some of those places, those things have been changed or altered. But you'll find that they were living identical lives on this side of the Atlantic compared to the other side. Very identical, because everything that they were doing back around the 18, like probably from 1801 right up until 1899. No, even further, probably until the 1920s, the rich people wanted to identify with the very wealthy in the UK. It was a parallel life that they had over here. And, but one of the big differences is over here, the women could keep their wealth. The women, there was no, uh, there wasn't a primogeniture the way they have there, where everything would go to the eldest son. There was some that practiced that here, but there were a lot of women that kept their money throughout their marriage. They came into the family rich and they stayed rich. They had their own money. And that was a big difference. They had their own money and they built lavish homes with that money. One of the problems with that is that it would really thin out the family wealth over time. But um, that was the only big difference between how the rich people lived here and how rich people lived there, was that you had more women with control of money and land and property here. Leg says Diana and Meghan were abused and gaslighted by these unroyals. All these royal rotor judge the response from Diana and Meghan and not the action that led to them. Here, here. Exactly. Exactly. And it's deliberate, Legs. It's deliberate. They are deliberately misleading. They have been given their marching orders by Camilla, by Charles, to destroy Diana's character. That's the only way that they could make a case for Camilla, is to try to damage whatever memory that people have, to completely obliterate Diana's legacy. And that is the same thing they're trying to do with Meghan. And that is why you have that stick figure dressing up like Meghan, which is why I said when you Google tan coat for Meghan, you could put Meghan's tan coat, and there will be several photos of Kate. It is deliberate. They are trying to erase any iconic image of Meghan from the UK. It may take 100 years, but that is the attempt. So right now, there's more and more conspiracy and damaging comments and books about Diana instead of anything that celebrates her. And sadly, William is in on it. William is okay with it. William does not step up for his mother's memory. They poisoned his mind against his mother years ago, and that continues. So he is stuck between grief and utter contempt. That's my opinion. He has grief and contempt for his mother, and that comes from that institution. That is my opinion. I don't know how else to explain it. There's grief and contempt, and that is why his head is all messed up. And they started on her with him while she was alive. They were doing that while she was still alive. They couldn't get to Harry, but they definitely got to him. Even if it took a 9 iron, they got to him. Thank you, Lex. That is exactly what has happened. Okay, so to continue, Dr. Charlotte Proudman, who seems to have it in for Kitty, said, while new parents can't even afford baby products, Kate Middleton and her children visit a baby bank for a photo opportunity. Good wishes won't take 4.2 million children out of poverty, but redistribution of the royals' wealth just might. I like her. She don't give a rip. She lays into that family like we vote in Chicago. Vote often and vote early. Or is it vote early and vote often? Yeah, that's exactly what she did. She does that quite often. Love her. And it is quite true. Prince Louis goes bananas for Toy Gorilla as royal children help out at Baby Bank. Princess of Wales and family pack gift boxes in Maidenhead as part of their work and raise their profile of vital service. You got that right. Raise the profile of vital service for them, not for the country, but for them. Let me see. William has done nothing on AIDS, landmines, or her children's causes, and Harry's patronages for these issues were never sanctioned as royal patronages, only private patronages. You know, I did not realize that. I didn't think about it, but you're right. You're right. So yeah, that is something to think about. Is that they don't even want to consider those a royal patronage. That's just something that you're doing, not anything that you would get any type of consideration or credit for in that family. Thank you so much for that. That is something to remember. So, why did I do that twice? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, Prince Louis yelled, "This is a big guy," as he picked up the large plastic gorilla. Okay. Well, you know what? I told you all yesterday, it's a beautiful video. There's the soft music, there's the slow motion and all that. Beautifully edited video. Gorgeous video. I mean, rich with details. And even a voiceover from Kate Middleton. You could actually, I don't think that was her voice live. I think they had to do a voiceover because you could hear every word. So they didn't even have to use the caption this time. You could hear everything she had to say. Now, there has been some pushback from other squatties, like right here, Kate Middleton. I don't care that many families with children can't heat their homes, can't pay bills, and don't have money for food. Yeah, so I guess the only response she has, to be fair, is to go and take pictures, and that itself is not even to inspire other people to kick in and help. That is to raise her profile, and that's it. That's it. She would never go to one of these places without cameras. Meghan has gone places to help without cameras while she was in the royal family. Diana has gone to more places than we could ever count without cameras. When was the last time you heard Kate do something like that? She wouldn't waste her time. She wouldn't bother. And if she did, it would be one superficial trip where there will be a leaked image of her with all of her hair extensions. You ain't going to ever see her do something like that because there's nothing to her advantage. It's not going to happen. If she hasn't done it by age, what, 42, then she doesn't have the intention. She ain't ever going to do it. Cost of living crisis, extra 1 million UK children set to go hungry. And what are they doing? Playing around with toys, stuffing toys in the bag. Here, children, find a toy that you would like to play with and put that in the bag for another child, just like you. Another child that has private helicopters, a fleet of Range Rovers, flies on private jets, and live in multiple homes. There's got to be other children in the UK just like you. So be like those children and wait for some wealthy benefactor to leave their posh home with cooks and nannies and what else? footmen, and all the other accoutrements that comes with being in the royal family. There's got to be other children just like you somewhere, as I say sarcastically. George, Charlotte, and Louis volunteer at Baby Bank with mom Kate in private family outing. Private family outing, see video. Private family outing. She drove her car, and there happened to be an HD 4K camera stationed in the parking lot so that they could catch her and the kids drive up. As a matter of fact, she just happened to still have a microphone and a battery pack attached to her body from the last time she volunteered in front of cameras. So, again, George, Charlotte, and Louis volunteer at Baby Bank with mom Kate in private family outing. That was a pregnant pause. My eyes are panning the room looking for answers. A private family outing. See video. Kate Middleton took her 3 kids to a local center to help families in need during the holidays. So, what did those families do in July? What did those families do in June? Wonder what those families did in May. What did they do? Were there not people in need during those months as well? Or is the important thing to put on your Christmas sweater, bring your camera crew, drive your Range Rover, followed by Royal Protection officers? Do you know that Gums, do you guys know who Gums is? Please don't say the name, but Gums is that evil reporter. Evil. She's like the complete opposite of Meredith. Meredith uses her powers for good, and this mouthful of gums and little tips of teeth use her powers for evil. Well, she actually said that, see, Kate can drive herself to a charity without a bodyguard in the car, but Meghan can't even go to the gym without her protection. She really said that. And trust me when I say this, she knows better. She knows better. But she opened up her mouth and exposed those little white tips of her teeth and a whole lot of pink, fleshy, gooey looking gums and said that, knowing full well that the future queen, God help us, and the future king were not more than a hand's reach away from a royal protection officer. But she said that and put it on her Twitter, because remember, the more engagement that these people get on Twitter, the more money they make. Now, fortunately, there is a handful of squatties. Actually, there's one in particular that drags her on the daily. So that means that if I do happen to come across something like that, I don't have to take that deep breath and then start trying to retaliate, because they've already sorted it out and they just share the screenshot so that way they don't get the engagement. Smart, right? So anyway, but that was a very intelligent and very logical person doing the most at Meghan's expense. And it's just as I said, you got to push down on the Sussexes to uplift those two misfits. You got to open up your mouth with little white tips of your teeth and gums almost laying down on your tongue. You got to open up that weird mouth with the corners that kind of stick out like the Joker, right? You got to open up that weird, funny trap and say something stupid like that. Ugh, ugh. I mean, just the thought of it. And Kate took a picture with her. Kate took a photo with her. You know, if that was Meghan, they would swear that she was on the payroll. But instead, this monster took a photo with Kate. This lying, scheming, gum-filled mouth monster. Ugh. I bet it must be awful to watch her eat. It's like you're constantly waiting for a second set of teeth to extend, and they never do. Anyway, I got that out of my system. So for the royal day trip to the baby bank is a curated Photoshop with immaculate hair, expensive clothes, carefully positioned products for poor people, whilst for parents who oh, you know what I need? I need a Ricola, and they're in the other room. So I tell you what, I'm not through dragging yet for sure. While I do that, why don't you watch the very beginning of that video? While I go, and I got my humidifier going, but I am just particular today. So let me do this, and I'll be right back. Of all the royals, senior working, status or not, Harry and Meghan are the absolute last individuals who should be speaking on behalf of the British royal family or stripped of their Sussex titles, which were a wedding gift from Her Majesty, the Queen Elizabeth II, not King Charles. But even if the implicitly biased firm and senior working royals choose to do, it really won't affect those of us, outside the UK and the Commonwealth, who recognize and appreciate their genuine value to the world. Plus then H&M will actually be able to use their marriage titles, Prince and Princess Henry of Windsor, which actually has a lovely ring to it. To those of you with the capacity to take on a non-UK tabloid-influenced perspective, it remains a staggering reality that all of these title-stripping threats are simply due to Harry and Meghan's courage and determination, not to allow distortions and blatant lies about their interactions with others, as reported by the UK's revolting toxic press, to stand. They simply dared to go public and offer their lived experience against the fake scripted narrative implanted into the British public consciousness by palace PR teams, private secretaries, and William Camilla themselves. For the UK, a region once known for its higher education, good manners, and leadership, to fall so far from grace and now be known for its greedy, culturally intolerant, misogynistic monarchy, obsession with toxic tabloid headlines, and refusal to acknowledge its dishonorable history of enriching their people by way of enslaving and trafficking POC, people of color, not to mention their theft of resources and artifacts from the conquered and occupied nations of the British Empire. It is a sad state of affairs, one I pray my own country takes action to distance itself from. Thank heavens I was born in Canada, where I was taught to think, to read, to research, and to not just gobble up what was being spoon-fed to me by the newspapers, my textbooks, my teachers, my parents, etc. We are educated here for the most part within a framework of critical thinking and within a culture of acceptance and inclusion with a strong abhorrence for hate and gossip. Many of us here and elsewhere in the world who lived through the era of Diana were quick to recognize that the old playbook that sought to destroy the reputation, charitable work, and legacy of the Princess of Wales had been dusted off to destroy Diana's youngest son and his new multiracial bride. How predictable, how sad, how utterly vile and narrow. Okay, I'm back. Done and dusted, sorted, as they say in the UK. It is all sorted. I have a refreshing Ricola. It has even opened up my sinuses. So, Celia Ohashi, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. But yeah, I had so much fun editing that video. So please make sure you find it and watch the rest. It is titled, what was the title again? Oh, Love Wins Movement. That is the title. So, and it's only like 9.5 minutes long, but I didn't want to do the whole thing. I was actually just sitting here watching it like you all. I'm like, oh, I better get back at it. Because we still got a ways to go. Yeah, we still got a ways to go. So thank you again for the super sticker. And thank you all so much for being here. And didn't I tell you it was very well written? So what did I leave off? Oh, whilst for the parents who rely on these donations, it's a lifeline. Poverty tourism mocks those in desperate need. They call it poverty tourism. Dr. Charlotte Proudman also tweeted, it's not a private outing when every move they make is broadcast to the entire world by dedicated photographers follow them around. Some people take family days out to the zoo. Others go to the baby bank for free PR. I like her. I like her. I am going to build a shrine to her later. So here are some of the comments that I came across today. The performative and enraging claptrap is an insult to the extremely hardworking volunteers at my local food bank who every day go above and beyond to help genuinely impoverished and desperate people put food on the table. Think is called a look in PR circle. Oh, it's called a look in PR circles. Osborne loved a tarbard, amongst other things. Tarbard? Anyway, and then someone else said, could have done with their help today when I was unpacking and checking dates on food to go into parcels at the food bank I volunteer at. So in other words, instead of rearranging toys, et cetera, et cetera. And then at the last one at the bottom says, remember when Meghan did things like this and everyone said it was performative? Right? Right? And then over here, and by the way, you all, these comments are not coming from squatties. Again, these comments are not squatties. I follow a lot of people on Twitter that are part of the Sussex Squad. When I highlight their Twitter profile, it doesn't come up followed by people you know. It doesn't come up that they follow me, and it doesn't come up that I follow them. These are independent, some of them Brits, that have an opinion about the royal family. Again, these are not squatties making these comments. They need to stop using the poor as props in their PR game. It's disgusting. If she genuinely wants to teach her kids about the value of volunteering and recognizing privilege, there's no need for the effing cameras, is there? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ouch. Oh, that's hot. Ouch. Now, here's a couple more. They could stay home, write a check, and change the lives of every single person in this country without making so much as a blip on their bank accounts. But instead, they'll use the woe of staggering people as a personal PR exercise. Do you see that this is a comment to the Sky News, right? These are not squatties. How about this one? Remember that time Harry and Meghan anonymously did volunteer work during the pandemic and then got called out for being altruistic, even though we only found out when someone sold the CCTV footage. In other words, the surveillance camera that captured their images is the only reason why it was a story, because they managed to buy it from the apartment complex and then it was shown all over the world. Meghan and Harry were being their philanthropic, humanitarian selves when they left the house during the height of the pandemic to go and help people. There was no camera crew. This was the tabloid media that went after them. There was no hoopla. Do you see how many times Meghan has made moves, whether it was part of the royal family or away from the royal family, and nobody knew anything about it? Even when she was in Toronto and she volunteered at a food bank there, and there she was, baseball cap, collar pulled up and everything, not there to seek attention, but there to volunteer like everyone else. When she went to Uvalde, there was no camera crew. One of the reporters recognized her. Most people that were there didn't even know she was there. There was no footage of her inside of the charity itself, the food kitchen that they opened. She was just there like everybody else. One of the ladies said her Spanish was really good. I thought she was one of my neighbors. They just introduced her as Meghan. I thought she was one of my neighbors. They had no idea who she was. It was the tabloid media and the derangers that made it into something tacky. Very big difference between a so-called private outing with multiple cameras, new clothes, and lots of hair extensions. Okay, so that's enough of that. Join us at Rockland Library Book Club on Thursday, December 14th at 3 p.m. to discuss Spare by Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. Find the entire ebook on Libby or request a copy at blah, blah, blah. Isn't that cool? And I'm just like, Placer County Library? Where in the world is the Placer County Library? You didn't ask, but I'll show you. And look at how beautiful it is there. Ah, Placer County, county in California. Placer County, officially the county of Placer, is a county located in the U.S. state of California. As of 2020 census, the population was some 404,739. The county seat is Auburn. Placer County is included in the Greater Sacramento metropolitan area. Interesting. Cities includes Roseville, Auburn, Rockland, Lincoln, Loomis, Colfax, Forest Hill, and more. Uh, oh, it's the third congressional district. That's interesting. It's 9,000 feet is the highest elevation. Good Lord, that's up there, isn't it? So, yeah, beautiful mountainous area. And what are they going to talk about? Spare with Prince Harry. Gosh, who wouldn't want to live there? Look at how clear that water is. Wow. I mean, you can see straight to the bottom. You know, I was about to do a segue for William, but that's tacky even for me. But you can see straight to the bottom. See, all the way to the bottom, the whole bottom of the lake. See that? You can see the bottom. See the bottom? Jacqueline Squash, thank you so much for being here. I need you right now. Thank you, because I was going to a very dark place. Jacqueline says, good morning, family. Oh, let me highlight it. Good morning, family. Look how the God of our salvation is still keeping and providing for our faves, Harry and Meghan. No matter what, we are going to keep on trusting in God Almighty. Amen, amen, amen. Yes, thank you very much, Jacqueline Squash, the official chaplain of Royal Sussex. Okay. Oh, and then the Evening Standard, also, like several other publications, has acknowledged the fact that the Duke of Sussex's memoir, Spare, was the best selling book of 2023 in the United Kingdom, according to Amazon. Harry's controversial book detailing his military career, his fractured relationship with his family, and his grief over the death of his mother was published in January. So there you go. Even the Evening Standard is lauding the um, success of the Spare by Prince Harry. His words and his words alone. Anything Kate can do, I can do better. Anything Kate can do, I can do better than you. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. You can't. Well, actually, I had to add to that headline. Anything Kate can do, I've done it first. Anything Kate can do, I've probably done it first. Yes, I have. No, you haven't. Yes, she did. Uh, and that is the truth. So the Daily Mail decided to insult us with this ridiculous headline, Anything Kate Can Do. Well, we all know that song, but the truth is, anything Kate can do, Meghan has done it first. That's it. No argument, no explanation. That is the unvarnished truth. Meghan has already done it. As a matter of fact, the best indicator for what Kate is going to do next, you just have to figure out, has Meghan ever? Oh, Kate will probably do that too. Has she worn it? Kate will probably wear that too. Or at least they will imply that Kate, in some way, has it has done it. And this little sweet photo right here, I just love this. In October 2023, the first edition of the Archewell Foundation Insight Report was released. Over the past 15 months, the Archewell Foundation has conducted a series of insight sessions, intimate, structured discussions with small groups of young people and parents about their perspectives on social media and the future of the digital world. These sessions share the views of young people and parents and elevate their solutions to improve our online world and provide them with resources and purpose, including a connection to one another and pathways to change. How sweet. Love that little sweet photo. Isn't that just adorable? He's sitting there having a conversation with a real life princess, and not just any princess, an American princess. Love this. This is like my favorite photo of the week, I think. Yeah, this is like my favorite photo of the week. Very, very sweet. And then, of course, telling everybody in the family, telling his grandma maybe or whoever, oh, well, she was very nice and she asked me about this and that. And, how, what do you say after you walk away from something like that? Very, very sweet. Anti poverty campaigners raise concerns over royal visit to baby bank. Oh, you know what? This is in the wrong place, but let's go with it. Independent Food Aid Network warns of normalizing charity as an answer to poverty after Princess of Wales volunteers at Berkshire Center. Now, Kate has just gotten in trouble earlier this winter, this fall, because she appeared on television wearing a 315-pound jumper and asking people to dig deeper. And what do in the name of self aggrandizement? Where am I getting these big words from? What is in this Ricola? Did you guys hear that big word I just let out? Self aggrandizement? I'm going to give me a bell for that. Anyway, in the name of self aggrandizement, anti poverty campaigners said, I'm sorry, look at it. Anti poverty campaigners have raised concerns about visits by the Princess of Wales to baby banks, warning they risk normalizing the idea that charity is the answer to poverty. Footage released by Kensington Palace earlier this week showed Kate taking her three children to a baby bank with her baby brain. Yes, that baby brain took her kids to a baby bank in Hollyport, Berkshire, where they helped volunteers sort Christmas presents. Last month, she visited Seby's Corner in Barnet, North London, one of the growing numbers of baby banks with her baby brain being set up across the country to provide free nappies, that's diapers for you in the US, clothes, and formula milk to families in need. Sabine Goodwin, director of the Independent Food Aid Network, said that that baby brain, why do I keep saying baby brain? There's a fine line between soliciting donations with a positive spin and normalizing a charitable response to poverty, even if you do have a baby brain or suffer from baby brain. So, baby brain took her babies to the baby bank to sort toys. And there are a lot of people that are pushing back. Even without the tabloids reporting it, the pushback is happening. And it is, and y'all, I have to tell you, I had the same bad feelings about Twitter when Elon Musk took over Twitter. I'm like, this is the end of the end, right? This is the beginning of the end. This is terrible. This is dreadful. But let me remind you guys, and this is what I always try to remind people, is that yes, you have some very good, valid reasons to be angry or disappointed or alarmed, but not everything is all bad. Not every person is all bad. You have to get past the anger and see what the possibilities are. Because of Elon Musk taking over Twitter, we are having conversations about the Middle East that would not have been possible in September. It wouldn't have been possible in July or January. it would not have been possible. But because he has this very cavalier, just put it out there, free reign for people to speak. Yes, there's more hate than ever before, but there's also more truth, a truth that would not have been possible before. So I hate to say that maybe it's not terrible, or maybe it's not a big mistake, or we're doomed, but it is bringing light into some very dark situations, and people are having conversations about things that they could not have a year ago. So I have to tell you that because the very biased tabloid media, the British media, and even the enablers in America are given a free ride to some very unworthy people. And the only pushback is coming from Twitter and TikTok and YouTube and so on. That's the only place they're getting pushback. Meghan is just one of several Black women who have been targeted by the right wing. I don't know what it is about Black women and the right wing that they feel as though they need to set their sights on Black women, but they do. And they get away with it. And they would get away with it even more if it wasn't for the amount of criticism, the amount of pushback that comes from people like you and me. I saw a TikTok video the other day and I was just as pleased as punch. I'm like, yes, yes, speak it. Speak it. We need that. And also, we need to operate in a platform that the young people will use. That's why it's so important. So, yes, it is not without risk. It is not without risk. It can turn on us, but at least it's fair. At least it's a level playing field for now. It's a level playing field. I just heard Alex Jones is coming back to Twitter. Oh, that's awful. But hopefully there will be someone there who can counter or even shout down the Alex Joneses of this world. Because believe me, while we're sitting here worrying about what is Elon Musk going to do next, there are children. There are children in the Middle East, innocent children, thousands of them, that are no longer here. I have seen horror like I've never seen in my life. And as bad as it is for me to look at it, it's got to be that much worse to live through it. That's why I'm always so optimistic. I don't like to look at anything and be defeatist about it. There might be some good there. There might be some thread there. I'm always hoping for that. Instead of wringing my hands thinking, oh my goodness, this is the worst thing ever. But there's always the bitter with the sweet. So Duchess Meghan really was offered Queen Elizabeth II's Black equerry as a possible mentor. Now, I find this so hard to believe, but then again, let me tell you why it is kind of believable. Because there's an old saying, don't all Black people know each other? You see, as African Americans, we find ourselves in situations where we are the only other Black person. And when we see another Black person, our eyes kind of locked, like we grew up together. It was a way of protecting oneself from the environment, which may be very hostile, right? Now, it don't always work out that way. I've been in situations where I'd be like, yeah, the white folks can have that one. Mm-mm. Y'all can have him. Mm-mm. No, he ain't one of us. You can have that one right there. But other times it has been a salvation for me, or at least I didn't feel so isolated or alone in the workplace or in a public space. So back in 2021, the Windsors were completely panicked about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's Oprah interview, and they authorized one of the most ridiculous and clownish campaigns of character assassination I've ever seen. One, by the way, this is from Celibici. One of these pieces was this one in the Times of London, in which palace sources insist that Meghan had all the help she needed, except that half of the staff threatened to quit as soon as Harry became engaged to a black woman, and Meghan wanted a Beyonce way of royal stardom. Inside that piece was also this telling detail. Palace staffers assigned Queen Elizabeth II's black equerry, Lieutenant Colonel Nana Coffee. Um, what is that? Watusi Ankara? Is that wait to Tomasi? Oh, Tawasi, not Watusi. Tawasi Tawasi anyway, to mentor Meghan. Literally, they got the one black guy to mentor Meghan, all while they sabotaged her. Well, Omid Scobie's Endgame repeated the story with a new wrinkle that Meghan and her friends were like, "What the frappuccino?" When Lieutenant Colonel was assigned to mentor her. Now the son is repeating the story and putting a royalist spin on it. Um, what doesn't make sense about this is that what does um, Lieutenant, I'm gonna just say Coffee. What does Lieutenant Coffee know about being a royal princess that he could mentor her? What does he know about being a woman in the royal family that he could mentor her? This doesn't make sense to me. It does not make sense. Especially when Meghan even said that they didn't offer her any help, that there was no course to take, there was no guidance. In other words, she was being set up for failure. The bulk of the help that Meghan received came from Harry. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Yes, I get the idea that there's a black person that has close proximity to the royal family that could help another black person. But Meghan is a biracial woman from California. And I believe Lieutenant Coffee is from Ghana, right? I don't know if he was born in the UK, but I know he's Ghanaian. So, how was he supposed to help her? I don't get how that makes sense. I'm not saying it's not true, it just doesn't make sense to me. How does that make sense? It sounds like a royal reporter strung together a few facts and called it the truth. Now, I know that it was mentioned in Endgame. It still doesn't make sense to me. I don't know how that works. Now, mentor to what degree? I mean, at some point, well, okay. When would Meghan ever have time, or when would the lieutenant ever have time to be in the same space with Meghan unless there was something happening with the public? When would that happen? Because the equerry is the body man for the monarch. Okay? So when would that happen? When would the queen excuse her loyal servant to go and be with Meghan when they could just hire or recruit somebody else? Or am I thinking about this too much? It doesn't make sense to me. You see the way that, what's his name is lurking about with Charles. Do you think he has time to go and be with the newest girl that marries into the family? It doesn't make sense to me. I could go along with just about everything else, but I cannot wrap my brain around this. And I don't want to assume something negative just for the sake of bashing the royal family. If it doesn't make sense to me, it doesn't make sense. I don't see how that would work. Let me see here. Royal equerry. I didn't say actuary, I said equerry. Okay. I am going to give you the definition. An equerry, from the French écurie estable and related equerry squire, is an officer of honor. Historically, it was a senior attendant with responsibilities for horses of a person of rank. In contemporary use, it is a personal attendant, usually upon a sovereign, a member of the royal family, or a national representative. The role is equivalent to an aide de camp, right? Or an aide. But the term is now prevalent only among some members of the Commonwealth of Nations. So that's it. It's a personal aid. So when does the Queen excuse her equerry to go and be with Meghan? To mentor her. When someone mentors you, that means that you spend some time with them. What was she supposed to get on the phone and ask questions? Do you think that Harry would say that was a good idea? I don't see Meghan saying no. I don't see that Meghan would scoff at something like that, especially as eager as Meghan was to work. Meghan wanted to work. So why would they scoff at the equerry? Why would the Queen even excuse her equerry to be with Meghan? Hazel Jones says a male soldier assigned to onboard a future royal granddaughter in law. That's insane. It shows that the conspiracies against Meghan came straight from the top. Yes. None of that makes sense to me. None of that makes sense. If the Queen wanted her equerry to be with Meghan, I don't know that Harry would have said no. I don't know that Meghan would have said no. Yes, Terry H., condescending. I don't believe it. There's a lot that you can say about what happened in that situation that Meghan was in with the family. But this just doesn't make sense to me. Imagine, imagine the Queen's aide, Lieutenant Coffee. Imagine him and Meghan sitting up at night, braiding each other's hair, painting each other's toenails, talking about boys and planning for the wedding. Imagine them going shopping together and going to the Starbucks. Huh? Huh? What was that song that was in that movie White Chicks? What was that song in the movie White Chicks? Just imagine the two of them singing and dancing and listening to music together. I mean, come on. This is stupid. This makes no sense. I don't know where this started, and I can't remember exactly what Omid Scobie said about it, but I just don't think it's true. This sounds like something Angela Levin would say, where you just sit up there and string together some ridiculous ideas and call it the truth. Leg says, "What would that conversation look like?" Oh well, equerry, you are black, are you not? Give Megan the help she needs on being black here. Megan, Oh wait. Give her advice on being a black woman in the royal family. How about that? Thank you, Legs. It just makes no sense to me. You have Beatrice, you have Eugenie. Now, what is it? Meghan was already friends with Eugenie. Meghan had Harry and Harry's cousin to talk to anytime she needed help with something. Now, who else would know better than her husband and his favorite cousin? Why would they send a veteran of war? You know, I just, huh? Is he going to tell Meghan what is a proper hemline? Was he going to be the one to tell Meghan, no, don't use the black nail varnish? That's not what the Queen likes. The Queen likes the blush rose or whatever. Was he going to be the one to tell her that? Or am I missing something? This just doesn't make sense. I mean, I don't care what the man's preference is, although I think he's married and has children, but I don't see him as being cast as the gay sidekick in a romantic comedy about a actress from California who met a redheaded prince and soldier, and he's going to be there to help guide her through her position into the royal family. It makes no sense. It's stupid. Thank you, Lorna Williams. Queen Elizabeth II gave Meghan Samantha the Panther to assist her. Correct. Samantha Cohen was asked to stay on to help Meghan, and Samantha did not really care for the role. It would be such an insult to that equerry to have been solicited, let alone requested, to go and help a girl assimilate her way into that royal family. It's just sometimes when things are beyond stupid, I cannot look past it. It doesn't make any sense. It makes absolutely no sense. I get the whole idea. You're black, he's black. Y'all should be able to. Uh-uh. It's not a fit. It still doesn't fit. Meghan grew up a world or worlds apart from his experience. Who goes and get a soldier to inform Meghan about how to assimilate into the household? And also the idea that Meghan would have scoffed at the idea that her friends would have been a part of this rejection. No, 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 no. Now, the Queen was very proud of her black chaplain. Remember that? You would always see at the opening of Parliament, there was a woman whose hair was shaved down. Queen's former chaplain backs move to remove monarch in Jamaica. Prince Harry is amazing, right? So she was the equerry for the Queen for a long time. And obviously, as you can see here, has many opinions of her own. But this very proud woman of African descent um, was the Queen's personal chaplain. Now, call it window dressing if you like, call it something very cynical if you like. I think that the Queen had already set out to keep up appearances, or maybe in her heart, she was trying to uh, prove she was not that type of queen, or maybe she in her heart felt that it was time to move forward. So they have the black lieutenant of London. She has the black um, uh, chaplain, and then she had a black equerry. So maybe it was a strategy, or maybe in her spirit she said it was time. Whatever the case was, these people were not put in place for Meghan. They were not put in place for Meghan. There is no mechanism by which Meghan, who in her own right was quite busy, would have time to hang around the next black person because they're black. It just doesn't work like that. Who has time for that? And so there's Lieutenant Coffee back there. Um, of course, as the Queen's equerry, as her body man, if you will, her loyal aide in uniform, he's always within reach of the monarch. And there he is sitting right behind Meghan, where the camera can see them, you know, seated one in front of the other. By chance, by accident, I don't know. There's Susan Hussey. Who else is back there? I don't know who that big goofy looking guy is, but um, it just is what it is. But it just doesn't make sense to me. And so back in July the 12th, 2017, there was an article that talked about the Queen's first black equerry. Now, at the time, I pretty much doubt that he would have, because see, it makes this sound as though the Queen had picked him because he could help Meghan. And that's certainly not the case. He is the first, but not the only person of color to have that position. I believe there was one that was from India. Most of them, yeah, they were white, but there were people from different backgrounds, most of them white, that have served as equerries. It is not a lifetime position, it's something that you rotate in and out of. And of course, at the monarch's request. And now, of course, there's what's his name, Johnny something. That he was the Queen's equerry, and now he's the King's equerry. But yeah, so he was the one that was with the Queen when she died. They accompany the monarch wherever they go. So why would that person have been chosen to help Meghan? That was somebody who was being just a little racist because they were both black. Now, let's get on to this one. Here is that famous Photoshop from some time ago. Uh, I was going through my stuff and I found this. I'm like, oh, I still got that picture. So they're saying that the lighting is not right for little Louis. If you notice, there's this big glaring light by the side of his head. Now, there might be a lamp on that table, but it seemed like they should all, or at least the two girls closest to him, it seemed like they would have that same light on their faces, but they don't. Just Louis. But whatever the case may be, we know the windows are to the left. I'm pretty sure of that because you can see. But see, notice the striking light on the side of George's face and his face alone and Louis's face. Huh. What say you? Anyway, I don't want to get into that whole discussion about this one again, but this was the first photo of the Cambridge kids where they said that there was some photoshopping going on and that Louis wasn't even there. Really? Eugenie mentioned it? Oh, did not know that. So, sometimes they get it right, sometimes they get it wrong. There was a few times when the queen was trying to be more supportive of the black community, and let's just say it wasn't always as what is the term I'm looking for? Politically correct. It wasn't always so politically correct. Like that time she went and got some cornrows, to try to fit in during the Black Lives Matter. Or how about that time when she went marching, slipped out the side entrance of Buckingham Palace and took to the streets? Forgot to put a wig on that day. Or what about that time she opened up Parliament wearing the kente cloth hat? So she don't always get it right. But for the most part, she tried. Bless her heart, she tried. And then of course there was the kente cloth that she wore on the balcony, and then she got them finger waves that time, and had the iPod, the iPods hanging out of her ears. Very urban of her, very urban. So, like I say, she don't always get it right, but she tried. Bless her heart, she really did try. And of course, there was the AI image of the queen. Even the AI took some of those images and reimagined them. Um, where the queen is out there on the high street, just doing her shopping like everybody else. Nothing to look at. It's just the Queen of England. Britain's real nightmare before Christmas. Brazen thieves openly target festive tourists as as county lines style shoplifting gangs. Locals steal everyday items from frozen food to laundry powder. You know, I look at some of those headlines in the Daily Mail where they refer to failed cities across America, lawless cities across America. They do that every day. And they even add statistics for the crimes, right? Well, lately I noticed that there's been more and more. Connie Balmer! Hey, Connie Balmer. Y'all, Connie Balmer is here. But I've noticed that there's been more and more headlines coming from the UK where you have organized teams of thieves going about ripping people off and all that kind of stuff and walking out of the stores with merchandise. Happening a lot these days. So be careful what you criticize because it may come back to haunt you. There are people all over the world that are mad as hell and they're not going to take it anymore. Yes, a lot of these things are very petty. It makes things worse for everyone, but people are crying out for help. People are crying out for support. And of course, there's a lot of peer pressure and such. There's a lot of people that are on drugs that are doing these things, but all of this represents a society that is suffering from illness, a society that is suffering from a sickness. And if the politicians don't do their due diligence to help people in society, these things are only going to get worse. We're losing a lot of stores in the US because of theft. And so while the Daily Mail is throwing stones, although they live in a glass house, it is not very helpful. It is not helpful at all. So I'm just saying. Anyway, I am just about done, you guys. Let me see here. Thank you to the moderators for keeping this a safe space. Church Nellie, Anastasia, Black Queen, Sean, Lydia, Cookies and Cream, Lucy Wynn, Mo Shannon, Sherry Ware, and Elaine Parker. Thank you all for keeping this a very, very safe space. Cheers to the Mod Squad. Also, thank you all for your very generous and thoughtful contributions. Let's see. Thank you, Legs, for your super chats. And Acelia Ohashi for your super sticker, and Lorna Williams for your super chat. Thank you all very much. All right, so we have concluded our business day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Andre, what's his name? Brogger? Brogger? I don't know who that is. Brooklyn Nine-Nine? I don't know who that is. Oh, there we go. Let me take a look right now. You know, I'm nosy. Oh, there we go. Oh, that guy. Is that why he was in the news earlier? Didn't realize he had died. Okay, that's why he was in the news earlier. Oh, wow. He's been in a lot of stuff. From Chicago, born in 1962. Car salesman, comedy drama series. Wow, he's been in a lot of stuff. Oh, that's really sad. I was wondering why I saw him trending earlier. Very talented. Played a cop a lot, right? A cop or a judge. Good night, love wins warrior. I'm sorry, love wins movement. Okay, well, our last word for the day. Let me find something. Let me find something. I'm kind of hungry. Imagine them trying to say the Sussex's charity is failing. Lord have mercy, these people. What they lack in imagination, they just make up for with BS. Wow, the king will travel to Canada next spring, marking his first visit to the British realm since his coronation, but is being prepared to face protests after polls suggest the country is turning against the monarchy. Oh, that's a tweet from Russell Myers. Okay. I think it's more than a suggestion. It's the truth. It is the truth. He'll do okay. He'll do okay. Charles is smart about his visits. William is a big dum dum. They run him up out of there. Oh wow, Dionne Warwick is 83. Is it her birthday today? Mm. Oh, this is interesting. I'm shocked seeing negative comments coming from people who don't do nothing to support others or volunteer in their communities. At least these children are privileged, but they are learning how important is, well, that's how they wrote it. How important is to help others. Your hatred only proves they're doing the right thing. Hmm. And then this other deranger says, the negative comments are breaking my heart. I expect them from the squad, but when you see the negativity from supposed royal watchers, it hurts. I'm saving that one. I'm saving that one. Wait, I think I just found my last word. Now I'm going to have to change the language a bit so not to get in trouble. But the squatty that posted this say, boo hoo, witches. Yeah, boo hoo, witches. Maybe the people of the land want better and are seeing the UK royals as useless as a fifth tire. Food, baby clothes, banks always do the work, not just when PR and views are needed. Uh-huh. I gotta save that too. I love it. Boo hoo, witches. And that is our last word for today. Oh, Lord. Mm-mm-mm. That just made my day. You know that? let me show you the tweet. Let me show you the tweet. I saved it. Let me show it to you. Lord have mercy, that just tickles me so bad. Oh wait, I gotta cover up the squattie's name. I gotta cover up the squattie's name first. Oh, she went there though. She went there. Oh. That is shady AF. That is shady AF. Well, boo hoo. Oh, there you go. There you go. Ooh, ouch. Ouch. Oh, ouch. I'm shocked seeing negative comments coming from people who don't know nothing. I'm sorry, who don't do nothing to support others or volunteer in their communities. At least these children are privileged, but they are learning how important is to help others. Your hatred only proves they're doing the right thing. The negative comments that are breaking my heart, I expect them from the squad, but when you see the negativity from supposed royal watchers, it hurts. Well, boo hoo. Maybe the people of the land want better and are seeing the UK royals as useless as a fifth tire. Food, baby, clothes banks always do the work, not just when PR and views are needed. You dig? You get me? Oh, I tell you, sometimes when people come out with that brutal honesty, that just made my world. That gave me my life. Oh, my side hurts. You know that? My side hurts. Anyway, um, as I was saying, thank you to our queens for those wonderful, wonderful, inspiring royals. Could not do it without them. Okay. So thank you all. Love you guys. I will see you all tomorrow. Sleep well or have a very productive day, whichever comes first. And thank you all for the really cool and exciting gifts that I received on the Royal Sussex official wish list. That has been fun. Um, let me see. Oh, I got another package. I see that now. I got another package. Yes, 2 boxes from Prime. I'm so excited. I have not been this excited since Oprah's farewell season. So, cannot wait to see. Thank you, thank you, and thank you. Look for some more of my short videos. Um, that should help you pass the time. And thank you for taking Royal Sussex into your workplace, into your kitchen, your bathroom, wherever, the grocery store. That I am keeping you company wherever you are and whatever you're doing is the most flattering thing I could ever imagine. I love when I hear that. And to those who don't like it, well, boo hoo. Oh, well, boo-hoo. Well, I don't know. I think I should. I think I should. I need to do a short video about that one. I got to go and see if I can find some more of their tweets, because if they're as saucy as this, oh yeah, I am following this person. If they are as saucy as this, then I'm here for it. Mm-mm-mm. When the UK media and derangers don't understand non-profit tax forms, when TMZ, who really doesn't like Harry and Meghan, have to set their dumb you know what straight. I love her. Pick up your faces. Yes, when TMZ, who really doesn't like Harry and Meghan, have to set your dumb behind straight. Pick up your faces. Oh, she's good. She's good. I mean, this girl is a read. Do you hear me? This girl is a read. Let me see what else she got. Oh, what is that? The Grenfield cookbook was so successful that I can see why Meghan was inspired for the Welcome Project. P.S. Royal INSO, I mean SPO. My behind, I'm substituting. The Sussexes are just innovative. Here's another one. Oh, now I see why Kitty Squad is deflecting on Harry and Meghan. So sorry to the UK people that she used her kids to pretend like she cares. This girl is a read. Do you hear me? Oh, she got my side hurting. This girl has my side hurting. Not just okay, not us having our impact report. We did we did that, Sussex Squad, using your platform for good matters, even when cursing out bigots. Let's get ready for 2024. Y'all, I gotta stop. I gotta stop. Okay, this is the last one. All derangers. I know many of you are mad as Frappuccino in my comments. Maybe help William out with his book. Let me see. Instead of saying early years, she got early years level reading. Early years level reading. William has a book, huh? Oh my goodness. It's the Earthshot Prize, a handbook for dreamers and thinkers. I didn't, is this real? Yes, he does have a book. His Royal Highness Prince William's Solution to Repair Our Planet. Lord have mercy. This girl is a read. I'm going to have to save this one too. I'm going to take her name out of it, but I got to save this one too. She is too funny. Okay. I got to stop. I got to stop. I gotta stop. I gotta stop. My sides are hurting. Woo! Yarly years. Uh, I tell you what, I'm glad we're on the same side. I am so glad we're on the same side because I would hate to be on the business end of that conversation. Mm-mm-mm. Well, you guys, I'm going to go. I promise you, I'm not going to look at that account again tonight. I'll have to check it out again tomorrow, but she is a hoot. Oh, okay. All right. Love you. Good night. Oh, I didn't do the thing yet. Let me see. Let us close with Ginger Adventure. I don't think I actually done that one for a while. Okay, get rid of that. And oh, you know what? And as for leaving on the screen, go back to this one. I love that photo of them. Love it. Well, boo hoo. Well, boo hoo.